Today, we're talking about a life that truly shaped generations of athletes, and fans for that matter. A life built on three simple things: wins, wit, and wisdom. This is the story of Lou Holtz.
You know, he once wrote in his book, "When I die, and people realize that I will not be resurrected in 3 days, they will forget me. That is the way it should be." It's just such a stark and really humble thought. But you know what? On that one, he was wrong. Lou Holtz, the quick-witted, absolutely legendary coach who guided the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to a national championship, has died at the age of 89. And the incredible outpouring of memory and respect just goes to show he'll be anything but forgotten. So let's dive in and explore the life and legacy that so many people are remembering right now. Look, to really understand Lou Holtz, you have to get that his most famous job, it wasn't just a job. Oh no. It was the fulfillment of a lifelong dream, one that started when he was just a little boy in Ohio.
And this connection to Notre Dame, it ran so incredibly deep, right from his childhood. I mean, think about this. We're talking the 1940s. Huddled around the radio listening to the Irish play. He went to a grade school that was actually run by the Sisters of Notre Dame and marched to their victory song every single day. For him, Notre Dame wasn't just some football team. He said it was part of our religion. He truly believed the team had to reflect the university's values, things like character, integrity, and just pure enthusiasm.
Get this. While he was coaching at the University of Minnesota, he had this totally unique clause written into his contract. It said he could leave for only one job, and one job alone: head coach of the Fighting Irish. Can you even imagine that kind of focus, that kind of singular ambition? But before he ever got that dream job, Holtz built this formidable reputation. See, he wasn't just another coach, he was the guy you called when your program had hit rock bottom. They literally called him a magician.
And his career path, well, it really tells the story, doesn't it? Just look at the stops he made before he ever got to Notre Dame. William and Mary, NC State, Arkansas, Minnesota. Each one was a challenge, a program that needed a new identity, a new standard. And at every single stop, he took these struggling teams and he turned them into winners. He was laying the groundwork for what was to come. And that magician reputation, it was absolutely cemented at Arkansas during the 1978 Orange Bowl. His number 6 team was a massive underdog against number 2 Oklahoma. And get this, just to make it harder on himself, he'd suspended 3 of his key starters right before the game for breaking team rules. It was the perfect example of his whole do-right philosophy. So what happened? Arkansas didn't just win, they stunned the Sooners 31-6. It was a coaching masterpiece.
And all of that, every single one of those jobs and those tough lessons, it all led to this, the pinnacle of his career. Taking over the one team he had dreamed of coaching his entire life and leading them back to glory. You want to know what kind of immediate change he brought? Well, former quarterback Steve Beuerlein tells this story about how the players were kind of slouched in their chairs, not too impressed at that very first team meeting. Holtz walks up to the podium and his very first words were, "Get your feet on the floor, sit up straight, take your hats off, and get ready to play some football." The entire culture of the program changed in that one instant.
And that new culture, man, was it put to the ultimate test in 1988. It was one of the most famous games in college football history, a game that got nicknamed Catholics versus Convicts. On one side, you've got No. 4 Notre Dame, the underdog, trying to reclaim all that past glory. And on the other, the defending champs, the unbeatable number 1 Miami Hurricanes. The tension was just unbelievable.
And Holtz, you have to understand, he was a master of psychology. The year before, Miami had just crushed them. So to turn that humiliating loss into fuel, he had these t-shirts made for his team. The message was simple but so powerful. From these ashes, Notre Dame will rise. He was teaching them how to turn failure into the foundation for greatness.
The game itself was an absolute war, just back and forth, right down to the final seconds. Miami scores a touchdown. They pull within 1 point with less than a minute left. So they go for the 2-point conversion to win it, and Notre Dame defensive back Pat Terrell bats the pass down. Final score, 31-30. Notre Dame had done the impossible.
And that incredible victory propelled them to a perfect season and the 1988 national championship. But just look at the rest of his time there. 100 wins in 11 seasons, a school record 23 straight victories, 2 more seasons finishing at number 2 in the country, 9 straight New Year's Day bowls. It was just an era of pure, unadulterated dominance.
But you know, his success wasn't just about X's and O's on a chalkboard. Part of what made Lou Holtz so effective, and honestly so beloved, was that he was one of the most quotable, quick-witted personalities the sport has ever seen.
I absolutely love this one. So,
After his Arkansas team clinches a spot in the Orange Bowl, the fans start throwing oranges onto the field, right? His deadpan response? Thank God we didn't get invited to the Gator Bowl. Just classic Holtz.
And then there was the other side of him, the tough-as-nails disciplinarian. His philosophy on hard work was simple and oh so direct. No one has ever drowned in sweat. He demanded everything from his players, and you know what? They gave it to him.
But when all the wins are tallied up and all the jokes are remembered, what's the real legacy? Well, it's something much deeper, much more profound than football.
You just have to listen to what the people who knew him best have to say. Hall of Famer Jerome Bettis said Holtz was family, and he remembers how the coach looked his mom right in the eye and promised you wouldn't have to worry, that he'd be taken care of. Archie Manning said he stood for discipline, faith, education, and doing things the right way. Tom Coughlin called him that rare blend of fierce competitor and master storyteller. See, these aren't just tributes, they're testaments to a man who lived his values every single day.
And his impact, well, it was recognized at the absolute highest level. In 2020, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, a true testament to a life that reached far beyond the sports world. And this last story is what I find most moving. In his final public appearance, he admitted his health was failing, that he couldn't walk anymore. But for an hour on that stage, he just lit up the room, telling jokes, sharing stories, and filling the entire hall with nonstop laughter. His spirit, his wit, his love for life, it was completely unbreakable, right to the very end.
So we come back to that quote from the very beginning. Lou Holtz, he thought he'd be forgotten. But this was a man who built his entire life on 3 simple rules. Do right, do your best, and treat others how you want to be treated. And it just leaves you with a question, doesn't it? How does a legacy built on values that simple, that powerful, become immortal?